Hello and welcome everyone. We have our trainer Vinod who will be starting today's session, and before we go ahead and let me explain you a couple of important points before we start the session. Everyone will be on mute. This is to avoid the background noise. You have any question, please do put your question in the chat window so that we can respond to it. However, I advise you to reserve your questions for the last 15 minutes. We will be having a question and answer session at 15 minutes. So I'll be here interacting with the trainer via chat. However, you can post your queries on the chat window so that we can take it up the last section. So 45 minutes from now, the trainer will be providing his inputs, and I hope you are able to see the screen of our trainer, and we can go ahead and start the session. Vinod, we can get started now, and you have any question, you can put it in chat. I will be responding it to you. However, as I stated, we will have 15-minute session at the end to answer any queries coming in from the participants.
All right. So I'll get started. So I welcome one and all for this program today. And today we will be covering a very interesting topic, which is inside the world of hacking. And I would not be talking more of a theoretical perspective per se. I would be trying to address more of the concerns on how attackers make use of the hacking techniques and how they exploit existing vulnerabilities and try to gain access to certain confidential data, etc. All right. So having in mind that this program is planned to be a 1-hour program, I will, however, close this program by 9:30. Right, it was from 8:30 to 9:30, so effectively we have another 45 to 50 minutes now. So going forward, I just will set the picture clear. So the first half an hour I will be giving a little on theory and what we'll be covering, and I'll try to set the base between us clear, and the rest of the half the program we will be seeing some very interesting hands-on live demos. So it would be great if you are all interactive, as interactive as possible, so the session would become better. All right. So you have the chat option available. So you can post your questions on the chat if you have any. I will be more than happy to address it. All right. So let me get started. So I would want to define the world's most secure system this way. The world's most secure system is a system that is dug 10,000 miles underground, surrounded by 10,000 volts of electrified fences, filled with toxic nitrous gases on all sides, with a bunch of trained army men. And I'll tell you, it also still stays one of the most vulnerable piece of systems on the internet. Yeah, so I'm sure not a lot of you would agree to this, but this is what actually happens. All right. When I see this, I also get reminded of a very interesting saying. The saying is like this. They say there are only 2 types of people in the whole world, just 2 types of people. Number 1, the person who knows they are hacked, and 2, the person who does not know they are hacked. All right. So effectively, both of it means that we either ways are hacked. All right. I'm sure most of you attending this program currently already believe that you are not hacked and you have never been hacked. Yes or no? I'm sure you have the questions yourself. But please do think of that. They also say ignorance is a bliss. There is a lot of situations where we actually do not even know that we have got hacked earlier. Okay? Okay. I'm sure a lot of you use Yahoo, right? Look at this. Yahoo hack. 4.5 lakh passwords posted online. I'll tell you, 4.5 lakh passwords posted online. Foreign reporters say Gmail hacked in China. Correct? I'm sure at least 80% of the crowd here use Google to check or Google to search the internet, correct? I'll tell you, rest 20% of the internet users use Google to check if their internet is working properly. Yes, so I'm sure most of you already accept to this. So 80% of them use Google to search the internet. At least 20% of them use to check if their internet is working properly. Look at the kind of trust and faith that the company has built over the period of time, that we use Google to check if the internet is working properly, you know. So that is the kind of trust that the company has built over the time. Can I ask you this quick question? You can all think over this question. When do you think Gmail got hacked the last? When was the last time Google got hacked? Google recently got hacked 6 days ago. Yeah, Google got hacked 6 days ago. And interestingly, you know, when Google got hacked before that, it got hacked the before day. All right. So effectively, Google has got hacked a couple of times already. All right. Okay. Now, FTP access on acer-euro.com. Okay. I would want to tell you this. This is very interesting. I'm sure most of you will be knowing what is Acer. Acer is a very popular computer peripheral manufacturing company in the world, right? They are in fact tight competitors for HP, IBM, Dell, Lenovo, etc. And imagine this, there was an attacker who managed to gain access to the FTP of acer-euro.com. I repeat, the attacker managed to gain access to acer-euro.com of FTP access of acer-euro.com. And look at this, if you can find this, there's a zip file in the screenshot, correct? There's a zip file that you can find in the screenshot here, which clearly says, I'm just marking it here, can you see that? It says country-wise customer data, right? It says country-wise customer data. So something very interesting here is that the attacker has not only tried to manage to, you know, gain access to the FTP account, but also took the entire database dump of the entire website. And you know what? In any given website, you will have a footer column and a header column, correct? Footer and a header column. So what happened is, in the footer column, attacker gave a link which says download customer data. Imagine that. Imagine you go to a website, and when you go to the website, you see a option, all right? You find an option which says download my customer data. How cool that will be, right? An attacker managed to do that. And something that the attacker did was, you know, something that the attacker did was, when I went and clicked on that option which says download the customer data, it gave me a pop-up message saying, do you want to download the customer data in PDF file or an Excel file? How cool is that, right? An attacker is very innovative, and he applies all his ideas in the way he wants, right? And he otherwise calls it proof of concept. Correct? Okay. Okay, look at this. I would want all of you to pay attention to this. This is a very interesting slide, right? Look at this. If you can notice here, I'm sure most of you would be already knowing Kaspersky, right? What is Kaspersky? What is Kaspersky? Kaspersky is a popular computer antivirus company in the world, right? So what does this antivirus company do? They are there to secure end users like you and me not to get hacked or not to get infected, correct? So once I have an antivirus software installed in my system, it means that I have taken enough steps to make sure I do not get infected with the antivirus, with the virus, correct? So something that's very interesting here is, an attacker manages to do an attack where it is called the SQL injection, right? If you notice in the address bar of the screenshot that I'm showing you, right? I'm sure you can see a screenshot, correct? So in the screenshot, there is an option which clearly tells you usa.kaspersky.com/support something, and you have a long address on the URL bar, correct? So what an attacker does here is very interesting. So what they do is they say they try to pass in some kind of a malicious crafted query, right? This query is effectively going to reply back with some sensitive data. For an example, say I go and ask someone, say I go and ask Vamsi Anand, all right? I see Vamsi Anand's name there, right? So one of the attendees. Say I'm going and meeting Vamsi Anand and asking him, "Hi, is your name Anand?" What would he reply? He would say yes, correct? But what if I do not ask him, "Is your name Anand?" What if I ask him, "Hey, is your name Kumar?" What would he reply? He would say, "No, my name is Vamsi Anand," correct? So effectively, did I ask his name? No. I just asked, "Is your name Kumar?" Effectively, he has to reply yes or a no, correct? So what happens is, it gives a possibility for an end user to gain some more insight information about the particular end destination system, correct? So look at this. In this case, it is exactly what has happened, right? So what happens here? Attacker talks to Kaspersky's.com's official website saying, "Hey, your password is 123." It says, "No, my password is Kaspersky, not 123." You understand? So that is how attackers try to talk to computers when it is. Look at this. This is very interesting. Massive ATM card hack hits Indian banks. 3.2 million debit cards affected. I am sure most of you already have read this information, and I will tell you, I have tried to collect some information which is not really old. These are all very new information and hardly 1.5 months old information. That is all. Alright? Okay. Look at this. Loopholes in banking application. $25 billion could have been stolen. Alright? So I would want to tell you all this. In any information security or any kind of ethical hacking related slides that you see, whenever there is a message to you saying that could have been stolen, it means that it has happened. Alright, it is not could have, it has happened. Do you understand what I'm saying? Alright, so loopholes in banking app, $25 billion could have been stolen. Indian hackers finds flaw that could let anyone steal $25 billion from a bank. How interesting. Okay. Look at this. Ola cabs hacked. Credit card accessed. Company says there was no data breach. How interesting is that? Look at the first line and look at the second line. They are totally contradicting each other, right? Ola cabs hacked, and the attacker has put a proof of concept of his attack along with some confidential data on his blog, correct? And the company claims that there was no such breach, which probably means that the attacker has managed to gain access into the database of a company, and he made it. He made the attack in such a concise manner that the attack went totally undetected. Yes or no? This was also a SQL injection based attack, right? IRCTC website hacked. Information about 1.1 crore people feared stolen. I'm sure you are able to relate it now. When it says feared stolen, it simply means it has got stolen. Alright? Okay, now try website hacked. How interesting. It releases over 1 million email addresses. I'm sure most of you have read this information already, right? Look at this. At least 50 IT companies in Hyderabad attacked by Pakistani hackers. Ooh, isn't that really something happening out there on the internet? Yes? Look at this. India's leading payment gateway CC Avenue hacked. And the attacker not only just did that, he also the database was identified as MS SQL, storing passwords in plain text. How cool is that? Look at that. Attacker managed to take a screenshot and put it on his blog. Website of ISRO reportedly by Chinese hackers. See, these days attackers do not really do everything for money. They do something for grabbing that attention, grabbing that attention from the end users. Redbus.in, database possibly hacked. Now you all tell me, what does possibly hacked mean? Right? I'm sure you all are able to relate it now. Right? 13.72 GB of user data on darknet. Okay, I'm not sure if you have heard of this. Israeli president's email account was compromised and his email was uploaded on torrents for download. Can you imagine that? Right? So this is also very similar to that. Right? Look at how much confidential information gets to public hands like this. 180 Indian companies suffered from ransomware attacks so far this year. Okay, let me ask you a quick question. Before year, do you know what is the India's most malware infected website? Do you know in 2013? Yeah, 2013. What is the India's most malware infected website? To your notice, it is statebankofindia.com. All right. There's a very clear indication of what kind of a malware it was, what was it trying to do, how did it find methods to infect the visitors who came and access the site, what is a drive-by download attack. Everything is documented in certain blogs. You might want to do some Google search on that. It's very interesting. All right. Okay, look at this. Indian top celebrity IT accounts hacked by a 22-year-old. Look at this. Celebrity accounts who were hacked are Anil Ambani, Sachin Tendulkar, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Salman Khan, Shah Rukh Khan. These accounts were already hacked. Look at the next screenshot that I managed to get. This was like yesterday's news. Hackers accessed Rahul Gandhi's Twitter account, and the attacker also managed to access his account using a proxy chaining attack, which means that the IP would be jumping from various countries. All right, so the IP tracked back over 5 different countries, so they were not able to track down who the attacker was. Look at the next message. Shashi Tharoor. Sorry folks, my Twitter account has been hacked. It will be temporarily deactivated. Wow. I'm not even here to comment on all this, but I'm just telling you, I'm just putting the situation to you upfront and perfect, right? Look at the kind of distribution of attacks that are happening, right? The major kind of an attack, you can just look at this for your statistical purpose, but now let us quickly jump on to some hands-on because we are running out of time, right? Okay. Now, I want you all to open up this domain, infosec.com/emc/ip.html. Okay, I'll just open it for your information on my system also. Please pay attention. What do you see here? You see, what do you see? You see your private IP address. I want you all to understand. I go to command prompt, I say ipconfig. When I say ipconfig, it gives me an IP address detail. What is this? This is my IPv4 wireless IP address, which is my LAN IP address, which is not a public IP address, which is a private IP address. Correct? It is 192.168.225.21. And look at this. How interesting is this? And look, I did not run any scripts. I've not done anything. Right? I'm not even sure if you can just go to this URL. Right? You can just go to this URL. I've just created a script and posted it there, so that you just accessing that will actually help me understand your private IP as well, not just public IP, but also your private IP address. Right? I'm sure you all know that public IPs can be taken right away. You know, I'll just go to ipchicken.com or some website like that. It will quickly grab my public IP and just post it back to me. Correct? But what is happening to me here? I'm just not only getting your public IP but also your private IP. I've just written this small script so you can understand not just a public IP but also a private IP could be gotten access to. Say for an example, I ask you all to access this link, which means that there's effective chances that I can even gain access to possibly mapping your intranet network, right? I will be able to understand what is the network topology, what is the kind of setup you have inside your intranet as well, using these kind of scripts, right? Okay, now number one. Number two is I will also show you a small little tool that we have developed. Okay, so this tool, I'm just going to use any website of your choice. All right, let me open up Simplilearn.com. All right, I'll just open Simplilearn.com, and it is going to take some time for the crawling to happen. Let us give it some time. All right. Okay. By that meantime, let me explain you once again. So what we did was we quickly saw in introduction, then we saw history of some attacks. Then now we are seeing IP enumeration. Correct. So what happens in this IP enumeration is that when I just make you go to this URL, I get access not only to know your public IP, I also get to know your private IP. So in this case, I already have information about your IP addresses. Correct. Okay. Number two is I go to ipchicken.com. In ipchicken.com, I get to know my public IP address. Am I clear? So my publicly reachable IP address I already know. Now with this I can go to ip2location.com/demo. Correct. I want you all to note this. ip2location. Okay. So I put the IP address here and say search. This would probably give us some kind of information saying from where, what IP it is, and some more information about that particular IP address. Do you understand? So this is a kind of an enumeration which gives a little more insight to us about the particular IP. Correct. Okay, let me quickly open up this. This script is running now. So by this meantime, I will okay. Now what we just saw was IP address and enumerating it, right? So we saw what is the IP address, intranet IP address and internet IP address, and we also have seen how an attacker can actually log it on the back end, right? So that will be a little advanced, so we will not be covering it in this quick demo. Now what we will be doing is I'm going to show you something called the Fullscreen API Attack, right? So there are three topics that we will be covering. So the next topic will be a Fullscreen API Attack, right? So before that, I'm just going to show you this. See, this is the application that we managed to design, all right? So interestingly, it gives a lot of information about Simplilearn website to me, right? And look at this. This is something that I wanted to show you, right? Now, I actually ran a script from my server. doitcan.com is my site, okay? From this, I am able to gain access to understand what all softwares are running on the remote system. I get to know that Apache server is running on Simplilearn is running on an Apache. Simplilearn is also running Amazon Route 53, and I also get to know their MX record details, right? And I also know what SSL certificates they are using, where they are hosting, correct? And let us see a little more interesting information. Framework, we clearly know that it is a PHP that is running on Simplilearn. They are also using the Perl framework. And interestingly, Simplilearn looks like they are using Google remarketing as their advertisement plugin, and they use all of these analytics plugins. And let us see a little more JavaScript. And look at this, these kind of information gone to wrong hands can actually make them focus and target what they would want to do, right? If an attacker wants to attack a remote system, he has to know a little more information about the remote system, correct? So this would be probably the first few steps for an attacker, right? Okay, so we are done with quick enumeration, right? Quick enumeration. Now let me go to another website. Okay. Now there's a very interesting attack that I'm going to show you. We'll have one more demo, and I think we'll have to close by 9:35 ranges. We'll like extend it for 5 or 6 more minutes to accommodate one more demo. So we'll have 3 demos at once, all right? All to notice this address bar which you can find here, all right? I want you to pay attention to this part, all right? Please pay attention to this area. This area you will be able to find the status bar, right? So I want you to pay attention here. When I take my mouse and put the mouse here, correct? What do you find? Do you find the okay? Do you find the URL saying https://www.bankofamerica.com? On the bottom left, you find that, right? Which means that when I go click on this, it opens up, or it opens up the bankofamerica.com's link. Yes or no? Correct. Okay, now let us see what happens. I'm just going to click that, right? What has happened? What's happened? I just clicked and it has opened up this page. I'm able to browse through the page, etc. Correct? And I also noticed that the SSL certificate is there intact. Correct? Certificate, everything is intact, right? Now I want you to know that what you're seeing here, right? Whatever you're seeing here is interestingly not Bank of America, right? Look at this, it is a phished page, and whatever you are seeing here, everything is a spoofed image, right? Let me explain you what. I'm sure most of you would have gone to youtube.com, right? In YouTube player, on the bottom right, there is a maximize button, right? When you are watching a video and click that maximize button, it actually fills up the entire screen. The video fills up the entire screen, correct? Yes or no? So that is actually called a Fullscreen API that is being called. It is a HTML5 API, right? So what happens is that particular API makes the video become a full screen video, correct? So we have used the same API onto this particular demo, right? Look at this. I press escape button on my system and it goes back to this page. Now I take my mouse here, and when I click on this, it opens up a page which looks exactly like Bank of America, right? So what are we taught till date? We get emails from banks like ICICI, HDFC, IDBC and all, saying do not click links that come from unsolicited emails, etc. Right? Why is that? Because it is rest assured that there might be phished emails, there might be spams which will try to a victim and share your username and passwords to attackers, right? Look at this. They also tell very clearly that you should look for sites which has a HTTPS, right? HTTP symbol and all. Look at this. As an end user, I go put my mouse here on my left bottom. It says bankofamerica.com. I go click here. Beautiful. Look. Have a SSL certificate. So it simply means that it doesn't even look like a fished page, right? So there are high chances an attacker can fetch potential details from end users. Look at this. This is what I said. Let me mark it. This, this, this is what you find on the YouTube option, correct? So, okay. So, are we all able to follow? Yes. So, let me quickly say phishing full screen. Okay. So, why when I click on this, what happens? It is a page that I have hosted, all right, which means that any data inside this page can be custom modified by me. So I will create a page which looks like ICICI Bank or HDFC Bank. In this case, it is Bank of America, right? So I give you this page and you click on it, you type your username, password. I get to get your username and password to me on the email. Correct? So it is a fished page that I've created with which I will be able to get your username and password. Right? Even though you try to look if it is HTTPS page, it is a HTTPS page. Right? It looks exactly like that. Alright. So this is the second demo that I wanted to show you. Right? So we actually have seen quick demos, two demos. One is in enumeration. I just showed you the quick little tool that I ran to get information about what all is run on the, what all plugins are run on the remote destination system. And also we happen to see we are able to get the internal private IP address also, right? Okay, now we have around 7 minutes for officially closing the program, but we might extend it a little more. Now, so I can show you one more last demo, and this demo, okay, so I am actually showing you demo. Demo number 1 was enumeration, 2 was, okay, I'll say IP enumeration, where we saw location check using IP to location.com, all right, and we also saw what plugins are running, correct? So this is just to give you a quick briefer on a demo class. We will get in detail on the actual course as such, right? So second one you saw is a phishing attack, right? So in phishing, what does an end user do? He tries to create a lookalike page of a actual site and try to get username and passwords entered by end users so that he can steal it. Correct? So that is phishing attack. Okay. Number 3. Now let us go for a memory-based attack. Right. So with this memory attack, we will close for the day. All right. Okay. What am I going to do with memory attack? Let me use Gmail for a quick example here. Right. I close every instance of all the other running applications in my system so that everything looks very clean to you. Okay. Okay. Now I will just open up. Oops. Okay, I'm assuming that you're all able to see my screen, right? Let me confirm that. Yeah, excellent. Okay, so let me see. Look at this. I will just first put the scenario clear and then show you a quick example here. All right. The scenario is very simple. I want you all to pay attention. Very important. Okay, number 1. I'm sure most of you go to your office or your universities or anywhere, even maybe at your home. You log into your Gmail account, correct? You type in a username, you type in a password, right? And you use it for the entire day. You log in, you send out emails, you receive in emails, you chat with friends, do everything, right? And then end of day, what you do is you click sign out or log out, correct? I'm sure all of you do this, correct? Logged in to the particular account, correct? Okay, so I'm going to consider such a scenario here. I want all of you to assume that the demo that I'm showing you is one of the systems where there is someone, okay, public system where someone is using the system, logging in, right? He types in a username, he types in a password, logs in, checks the email, logs out, and goes off. All right. So assume that is the normal procedure, right? Now, let me introduce attacker here. Assume I am an attacker, right? I would want to gain access to the person who used the computer's password, correct? But there are other techniques where attackers would want to install a Trojan, a backdoor, a keylogger. These are different techniques in which an attacker might want to gain access to a user's account, username, passwords, right? But in this scenario, assume we do not have any such information, or assume we did not install anything to the computer, right? So which means that there is no software that is running that will record the keystrokes, nothing. All right. So this is the situation. I put the situation clear to you, right? Now let me show you an experiment of how you would be able to see if the data can be read out. All right. Let me use a live example with my own right username and password. Do not change my password after this demo, because I'll probably get an SMS alert anyway. So I'll type in my email ID, right? Okay, excellent. In this case, I've typed in my password. All right. I want all of you to pay attention. I've just logged into my Gmail account. All right. So I have a lot of messages, etc., etc. And what I'm going to do is I am going to click this tab because I do not want any of you to read my emails. Okay. So I chat with my friends. Okay. Or I actually send emails, do everything I want, and then end of day, what I do is I go click log out, sign out. This is the normal process, correct? Okay. Now tell me, if I not run any Trojans or backdoors, anything in my computer, there are high chances that I would not be able to gain access to the password, correct? The username, password. But I will tell you there are other techniques in which an attacker can gain access to the password. Let me show you how. All right. I have an application that I've just downloaded on Cheat Engine. Okay. Okay. So this application, it is freely downloadable. It is available at cheatengine.org. You can check out the site www.cheatengine.org. Okay, I'll type it for you. Okay. Now, Cheat Engine is an application that you can install after everything, after a person logs in, logs out, everything. Then also you can get this software installed. And once that is installed, you can see this icon here glowing, correct? I go okay, when I click on this, it shows various application that is currently running on my computer, correct? So now I will select Chrome because I know that it is a Chrome browser, correct? So I'll select Chrome. I'll say open, correct? Step 1. All right. Step 1, I actually open the running process. Number 2, I say pass. What am I going to search? I'm going to search for password, right? So I say pass. Step 3, I say first scan. Once the scan is done, which means that I'm searching for this variable pass, right? So I'm going to click memory do. look at this memory view. Very interesting. This memory view is actually going to show us the memory from the RAM. Let me search what was my email, or let me quickly type my password. I think this is likely my password. Look at this. Where was that? Okay. I want you all to pay attention. Look at this. This clearly tells this is the username that I typed and this is the password. Right? Let me search it. Instead of typing the password to search, I'll type my username itself. Alright? See, it clearly gives away information saying this is the username, this is the password. Right? Are you able to understand? So what we did was we actually used an application called Cheat Engine. All right, Cheat Engine is a hex viewer application. All right, hex viewer application. So with this hex viewer, we opened up the memory of the computer's RAM and loaded up a currently running process, which is the Chrome application, and tried to open up the memory and see the username and password. As simple as that. Correct? I'm sure you are all able to follow. If you want, I'm just going to repeat that for our advantage once again. All right? Okay. I'll close this once again. I'm sorry. Okay. So I go to gmail.com. In gmail.com, say I type in this is my email address, and say in my password I'm saying QWERTY123456. Assume this is a password that I have typed in. Alright? Obviously I've typed in the wrong password because I do not want you all to see that. Right? So this data, alright, this data is what I want to capture from the hex viewer, right? So what I do is I open up the hex viewer cheat engine, right? And what I do, I click on this. In Chrome instance, I'm going to say pass, say first scan. Here I'm going to click memory view, and I'm actually opening up the memory. Here I say search memory for, what was that? Vinod, right? So I search Vinod. Okay, so there is another instance of Vinod. Okay. This is another instance of Vinod. Okay. Okay, now it very clearly gives us a information that the username typed in, the email address is this, right? If you can clearly see, it says email is Vinod %40 is @ right? %40. So we know that infosec.com, and password is QWERTY123456. Correct? So we successfully able to read the Gmail's password right off the memory. And please do remember, whatever you're seeing is a HTTPS page, so it has got nothing to do with the traffic encryption or decryption out happening here. We read everything off the memory. All right. So with this, I would want to conclude the session today. I hope that you all had a wonderful time learning. In case you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to address. So I would be available on the chat. Any questions, please do post it. I'd be more than happy to address. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening. I would be available for some more time. In case you have questions, please do post it.